is 11:41. Part 3. Time doesn't stand still for very long. It might, in certain situations, pass unnoticed, but eventually it will catch up. Brady, walking along the street, looking at his notes, wasn't aware of time. He was thinking of Roman numerals, King Stephen, and he was experiencing a moment where the daily worries and concerns of life are left behind, or if you like, left for some later time up ahead. Which idea should he approach Sam with first? That was a puzzler. You don't want to give your best idea first. The best way to approach things is slowly. Let them simmer for a while in Sam's mind, what was left of Sam's mind. The whole idea about going to the library was an attempt to clarify things, to get some direction. Instead of getting untangled, the library produced the opposite result. Things were ratcheted up. New lines of thought come flooding in. It's a hodgepodge, thought Bradley. I should have stopped even before I began. The Julian calendar, indeed. How do I go off the rails like this? And the librarian was no help. She should have asked me if I'd forgotten my medication, not given me the Roman numerals. The whole idea of going to ask someone who is suffering from amnesia to see if they have any recollection of Robert E. Lee is crazy in itself. I wonder what time it is now. I have to stop at Joe's and ask. Could use a coffee anyway. Crossing the street from left to right, he entered the cafe. Howdy! What's your poison? Oh, coffee black, and maybe a couple of toast, with strawberry jam as well. And oh, do you know what time it might be? No, but that thing on the wall might, if the battery is still good. Turning around to look over his shoulder, the wall clock read 10:48. Can I ask you something? Did you ever hear anything about an English king named Stephen? No, can't say I did. Let's see, there were quite a few Henrys, if I recall right. Some Edwards, Charles, and Georges. Can I ask you another equally strange question? Fire away, but I'm not the greatest at history. Is it possible for someone to transfer some emotion or psychic energy into an object and have that object transfer those emotions to another person when they touch them? Sure, I guess so. Things can give you an eerie feeling, you know. You walk into a room and there's a chair upturned on the floor. You know something's happened. You get the feeling something isn't right. Why do you ask? Just gathering information, asking people along the way, trying to confirm my suspicions. I half believe that things can give off psychic impressions, and I half don't. What's your toast and jam telling you? They're telling me I'm hungry. Well, there you go. Brady checked the time as he left Joe's. It was 11:30. He wanted to meet Sam at the prescribed time of 11:41. If in that minute of time he could run these ideas past Sam, he could gauge his reaction. It was about a 7-block walk to the Billingsworth Hotel. He set out, as he had earlier, looking at his notes, taking his time and wondering what King Stephen had done to get him into such trouble. The Roman numeral thing was unexpected. It was kind of funny how things turn up once you begin to ask a simple question. But the question itself wasn't really all that simple. Why would a series of numbers trigger a response in an amnesiac? At the other end of town, a slow-moving older Buick was winding its way to the Billingsworth Hotel as well. Later on, when Brady was asked, he couldn't remember seeing a driver. All he could remember was, as he was getting to the Billingsworth Hotel, the car came around the corner at a high rate of speed and entered the space he was walking, kicking up gravel as it came right at him. In the last second, he threw himself into the ditch, and the car passed a few inches from him before roaring off. Sam Eversore heard the noise, but didn't look up. He didn't feel any tingle in his head either. This time it was Brady up and down, who felt a strange sensation in his head. When he recovered the watch, where it had landed on the gravel beside the road, it had been crushed this time, the crystal broken, the hand squashed against the face, the bracelet dismembered, It happened at 11:41. And because of that, a question formed in Bradley's mind. The question he was searching for, but would never have found unless things turned out as they did. Do you think one person's destiny can be assumed by another person through having in their possession an item belonging to the first person that has been imbued with the previous owner's emotions? Sam Eversole didn't answer. He didn't pick up the broken watch. He just continued playing the piano. Bradley didn't press the issue. He was sure, no matter how far-fetched, the idea that somehow he had lived out another person's destiny and they both had survived. On his way back home, he tossed the broken watch in the ditch. Only later on did he recall seeing a partial license plate with the numbers 1141 on it. The end.